Adam Spanich committed to Monday, and I'm saying this on the pod. So if he flakes on us, the guy's scared to come on here and tell us what's what. So
I can guarantee you right now, if Steph Curry was playing in the 90s, the 80s and 90s, Steph Curry got 0 chips with John Stockton. 0.
Oh,
0
my
chips.
God.
0 chips.
Adam, what do you think of Bam's 83?
Man, you had to go there, right?
We had to.
You already know, bro.
Steph Curry's not the greatest three-point shooter of all time. Not.
What?
No.
Adam.
No.
Listen. What are you talking about, dog?
But who's
That
beating that
team-
KD Steph team?
Hold on a second. For real? The 2001
Yes.
Lakers were 16-1. They were cooking that team. Who's guarding Shaq? Who the hell's guarding Kobe? Not Klay Thompson. Don't say freaking Klay Thompson.
Steph should have
That
won
2015 team. He couldn't beat Steph and Klay. And
LeBron James averaged 36 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 9 assists. What else do you want the man to do? That is, bro.
Win.
Nobody. You can't.
Good Lord, these people putting LeBron over Michael Jordan. I'm like, y'all, like,
Where do you have
This-
so we can really get this ramped up? I don't know how much
Well, we
time
need to
we
get
have
through
left.
where do you have LeBron?
That's what I was going to ask. Where do you
Yeah.
have LeBron James? 'Cause this is where we're going to
honestly,
get.
Hey, welcome back to the Can't Teach Taste podcast with your boys Matt Gannum and Todd Tomlinson. Today is a very special day. We're excited to have our first full episode guest, nicknamed the Miracle Man for engineering the greatest comeback in college basketball history, where he dropped 6 points in 2.8 seconds at Oregon in January of 1999. Before he was at USC, he was Mr. Iowa multiple times. After college, played in multiple countries and even made a Pat Riley Heat team where they told him they didn't need three-point shooting. And in today's game, whoever doesn't want a 6'7", two-way player who's one of the best three-point shooters and free throw shooters while he was in the Pac-10, it's crazy. Nobody knows what a 2026 contract might look like for our guy right here. But it'd be a big one. It'd be a big one, man. We're excited to have Adam Spanich on the show today.
thanks, guys.
Welcome, my guy. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Long
I
time
appreciate
coming.
you guys having me. Yeah, and I appreciate you having me. And amongst all things to talk sports, but just hang out with my buddies and catch up. So,
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. We've all known each other for over 10 years at this point. It's been a long time. I don't think all three of us have been in a position where we could chat in a minute, man. How's everything with the fam? Obviously, I see Zeke's getting big. Your daughter looks like she might be 25 at this point, which got to be pretty scary. You know what I mean?
yeah. Everybody's good. Krista, we're celebrating 20 years married in July.
Amazing.
And she's doing great. And, she's a mental health nurse practitioner and getting ready to go out into her own, start her own business here in the next few months and really get out there and do that. So really proud of her. And then Hadley, Hadley's finishing her junior year. And Zeke is growing like the weeds and out there hooping and doing everything. So anyway, but all is well. I remember, Matt, the first time I'll tell you this, the first time I ever remember ever talking to you or hearing from you. It's the funniest thing ever. And Todd, you don't know this because you weren't at Intellis yet, but
Okay.
we hadn't been there long. And Matt was in the training class right before me. And about 6 months after being in there, or maybe it was in the beginning of maybe 2014, I can't remember, but like we were back at corporate for something and there was just like 8 or 10 of us. And I remember we were there for a day or whatever. But we all had to ride to the airport. And it was kind of weird because we weren't there long enough to really know everybody because everybody's from different regions because it was just like a one-day thing. And Matt was like telling craziest stories. I was like, who is this guy? Shut the hell up. He was so funny. Oh my gosh. He was hilarious. That's my first memory of Matt. Oh my gosh. And at the time you were living in DC. So, oh my gosh. But then that was my first Matt recollection. It was one of the funniest car rides ever.
I don't even remember. I don't remember that at all. That's hilarious.
I know you won't. But it was just a random visit. But that was the first time I was like, who in the hell is that? I was like, this guy's hilarious. Anyway, he was great though. But no, I'm excited to join you guys, and I'll tell you guys this first and foremost. So thanks for having me. And I want to say this, whether it's just for you two or anybody else, but like I given the times that we're in, at any time like you go outside and you see leaves, turning orange and turning brown, the season, like, and what's coming. And I'll tell you this, it's in the times of everything that we're facing. I just tell people as soon as I can, like, get to know Jesus. And again, whether it's for you two or for anybody else, again, because you guys know me, I'm no perfect saint. I'm not, but like, I can tell you, like, in what we're trying to do, and as we've like evolved outside of just like taking care of ourselves and the family, we look at like the bigger picture, how the impact we're making on other people and on society, whether it's our foundation or whatever. It's, I can say, like, live eternally minded, no matter what, and whether it's cut out of the podcast or it's for you two. I just wanted y'all to know, and that's something I have on my mind and my heart day in and day out, especially with what's going on right now.
Love the message, brother. It's a good start.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, we definitely not cutting that.
No, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. And in the PC world, I work for a corporate company, and at the end of the day, like, I'm not sending my team Bible verses, but we talk about faith day in and day out, because like I can't be here without my faith. Like I wouldn't be here, and I know you guys are the same, and you have incredible stories. So,
amen.
But
amen, brother.
Yes, sir. Well, let's hop in, man. Obviously, you played at USC. You played for Henry Bibby. What was that like, and how did you end up out there from Iowa?
Man, so I think I was number 22 or 23 coming out of high school. And I've got some crazy stories about ABCD and Nike.
We need those.
I know, but of all things, though, I will say this. So I was recruited by pretty much everybody out of high school. And my brother at the time was a college soccer player at Oral Roberts University. And my mom and dad, being very religious and wanting me to go there. Bill Self was the coach at the time at Oral Roberts. Now, I say this now because he was like 30 years old at the time, but I didn't really want to go there. And I went there, and I mean, I was playing like 10, 12 minutes a game, but like in the 90s, like, number one, he had just learned from Larry Brown. They didn't play freshmen. You have to think of like the era, like 17 and 18-year-old kids aren't even being recruited right now, which is a shame of what's happening in basketball. But then they didn't really play freshmen, and if you got beat baseline, they took your scholarship. I mean, it was like he was defensive, like, you know what I mean? Like he was just defensive minded, and it wasn't like, this is the thing how I ended up is I went there, and I didn't understand the style of what I watched college basketball, but I was like, man, like they're plodding up and down the floor playing 50-point games, and I needed to go, I needed to shoot, I needed to play in that fast pace. So I was there, and I was like, this ain't for me, and I had an opportunity. I broke my pinky, which is still messed up really bad to this day. I broke it in the preseason, and I had a chance to redshirt. But at the time, I didn't really know what I was going to do. But I was like, I'm not staying here for this guy. And so I played, and I ended up transferring. But like, long story short, nothing against Bill Self, by the way. He's a Hall of Fame coach. And he was this. I think it was his second year as a head coach. So he knew about as much as me and you knew going in our second year, maybe in Device, for example. And you know enough to be dangerous. But I transferred, and I'll tell you this. When I visited places, I was like, I need to go play. So I took my 5 visits, and I was like, I'm going to go play. Man, when I went to that USC, that California sunshine, and then I played, I was like, there was 14, 15 guys who could touch the top of the backboard. Nobody who could shoot. So I went and they were scoring 90-plus points a game at the time. My first year in the Pac-10, 6 teams made the NCAA tournament. All 6 went to the Sweet 16. Like, the Pac-10 was loaded, right? Yeah. And sure. He was like, Adam, I run all pro-style offense. I run all sets. And I knew about him. I mean, I knew, he won 2 college championships. I know he, won a CBA championship. I know he, as a player, he won championships. So, in the league and with Philadelphia. So, I knew about him. And so that was what got me to be there, because I played on average, I would say I played about 22 or 24 minutes a game for my career. That was probably what it was, but I finished every half in every game. Because when everything starts to slow down and you need sets, like he ran sets. And you have to if you can shoot, you can play. And I can tell you this too, because we can get into it later when we get into the Larry discussion. But I can tell you everything isn't about defense. It's about angles and smarts. And you have to be able to – if I could play in that thing where I wasn't quick, you had to really learn angles and learn that. And so I was able to stay on the floor. But that's really how I ended up being there, where I realized I was like, I got to go somewhere that's tailored for me. You know what I mean? And that was the decision that I missed coming out of high school. Just not knowing, being 17, 18.
Who are some of the guys you played with over at SC? I mean, I know a lot of them from being in Southern California, but, you know, some people that might not be as familiar, some really talented people on those squads. So talk about some of the players that, you know, you played with and, you know, some of the, you know, the best players that, you know, you shared the court with over there at SC.
So right when I was leaving or when I was coming in, you know, Stace Bozeman and Roger Rhodes were leaving, and they still were there up in the summer, and the guys would come out and play all the time in the summer. Stace was a freak. Like, you know, he could have been a first team, you know, NFL. Like he was like an all-American safety from Inglewood, Morningside High School. Like he was incredible, 6'4", point guard, but he could play the two. He'd guard at center. Like he was incredible. Roger Rhodes had legend. And Roger Rhodes had transferred in from Kentucky for his last year and played with Bib. But this is the funniest thing is we had a really good incoming class, young guys, when I was a junior. And it was the second year after I left, they went to the Sweet. That was the year they went to the Elite Eight. And they were all back there. And like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Jeff Trepanier, who's from Compton, California.
Yes, sir.
He played in the NBA. I still stay in touch with him. I've throughout the years, we were really close at SC. But he FaceTimes me. This is like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Maybe right before the conference championship started. So that was like maybe 3 weeks, guys. He FaceTimed me because they were honoring the Elite Eight team, and everybody was there.
2001.
Yeah, 2001 team. Yeah, and Brian Scalabrine, everybody was there on FaceTime. And Jarvis Turner, who I played with, was great friends with Jarvis. Shannon Swillis, obviously from Fresno, he wasn't on that team. He had transferred right before. But Sam Clancy was a monster.
Wow, beast.
And here's the thing, too. Sam Clancy had you guys remember Reggie Evans, who had a great NBA career.
Yeah,
Sam made Reggie Evans look like a poor man. But he ruptured both of his kneecaps in the pre-draft camps, and ended up he ended up playing like in Europe, but like he would have been a monster in the NBA, but got hurt. But you know, there was a ton of good guys, but they FaceTimed me because they were all there, and it was funny just to kind of talk to some of the other guys at Scalabrine. Because Matt, you remember when we were at the game,
Celtics Suns, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, and Scalabrine, we were sitting right by the bench, and he walked by, and he looked at me funny, and I didn't say anything to him, but I did tell him on FaceTime. I said, "Bro, I saw you a few years ago at a game," but I was like, "But you know, I heard you're stuck up," so I was like, "I didn't want to say." And he was, and Jarvis and David Blumenthal were like, "Yeah, he's still stuck up." Like
Blumenthal too, man. All those guys, man. You give me, man. The Hoopers.
You know, Blumenthal played at Maccabi Tel Aviv, played for 15 years in Europe, won like 3 European championships. He was a great player. He was a great player. Yeah, and he was he came in young. I mean, he didn't really play when I was there my 2 years. He didn't play, but when I left, he exploded. I mean, he was an incredible player.
Was Brandon Granville there?
Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, he was there.
And Trepanier, man, those guys are SoCal legends, man. You guys had a squad.
They were good. And but Bibby was not playing, and I'll tell you this to this day. He'd be out there and be like, my junior year, I'll never forget this. We were in the airport, and Shannon Swillis was a redshirt freshman and leading the Pac-10 in block shots and rebounds as a redshirt freshman, and he was like, if I was in the CBA, if this was a CBA team, I'd cut everybody but Adam and Shannon. He told the whole team that. He's like, you motherfuckers can't play dead. Like in the airport. He was not playing. He was like, hey, he was like, listen, he was like, he goes, if you don't want to play, they would tell us too in the CBA, because like guys would come. He'd say, I'll pull 5 people out the stands right now. If you want, he's like, I'll play 5 people right now. If you don't want, like, Coach Bibby was not playing, bro. Like
he was not playing.
He was not playing. We were like, I remember too, my junior year, like they were showing this video of the year before, like when UCLA, we had them down the whole time, and then we ended up losing. This was Baron Davis freshman year, and Earl Watson, and it was my junior year, and we had them the whole game. This at UCLA, and before we played them the second time at SC, we were watching tape. And as the game started to go away, Coach had the video on of Steve Lavin on the sideline, and he was laughing. And he was like, "I'll kick Steve Lavin's ass." He comes over like he's like, "I'll pick him up." He was not playing, and he was just like, he just instilled so much confidence. I was like,
I love that.
You were in that room. You were just like, yeah, like, because he was like, "I'm gonna play who plays best from Monday through Wednesday." Because Pac-10 games were Thursday, Saturday. And he's like, if you don't practice, you're not playing. And that's how he was. And that's why I played, because he was fair. He was fair. He was like, he didn't care who you were, what your name was, how high heritage you were. He's like, I'm playing the people who play. And that's what I got to say about Coach Bibby, because he was not playing. But it was an incredible experience. I'm getting you guys, what shoot-arounds are like. The day of the game. We're shooting around. My junior year, we're running suicides taped for shoot around. This is like Red Holtz
day game.
That's crazy.
Like day of the game, like not playing.
People, if y'all know supposites, those are no joke.
Game
those that
crazy. So like shoot around supposed to be 45 minutes. You get some shots up, you get a little sweat. You run through just the scout team offense of what, and just your dummy offense, your plays taped. We were taped for shoot around. We were running suicides in shoot around. So it was like crazy. Right in line with my dad. Great. My dad, like, you just was like, you had to be ready all the time. Be ready.
Yeah.
And that was just
you got the best out of you, man. Sounds like you got the best out of you, right? Would you say it's the best? I mean, you played for a couple coaches, obviously, throughout your career, but who was the best coach you played for? Would you say it's Coach Bibby?
Yeah, in college, for sure. I mean, at the time, I wouldn't say he didn't have the career of like Bill Self because of
course.
I mean, like, I would say what he was exposed to, and Bibby being more of a pro coach, because Bibby was coaching. That was his first college job. He wasn't a college coach; he was a pro style coach, and he never and he coached again professionally. But even after SC, he didn't coach again in college. Like, he only coached professionally. He coached the WNBA. He went over and coached back to Puerto Rico, but like CBA, but like he was a pro style coach. So he was by far a better coach, and I'm sure Bill Self's a better college coach than him. But just for me at the time, he was better.
Awesome.
Yeah. But
tell us about that game at Oregon, just so people who don't know. There's 2.9 seconds left. Obviously, play the clip. I think we played it on an earlier pod. The announcers are pretty much talking about the Pac-10 standings. Over. Yeah, game's over. They're talking about the game like it's already over. Adam catches the ball, hits a 3 in the corner, and then there's. Go ahead. Why don't you tell us? What's going through your head?
The thing is that, like, so number one, the Oregon fans were trolling the whole game, like token white boy, chanting all kinds of things the whole game, and I'm killing them. Like, I think I had like 32 in the game, and I'm murdering them. And I'm playing and this is at Matt Court. They went to the Sweet 16 that year, and they had 2 or 3 NBA players on their team. You know what's really funny is the guy who chucked the ball is Flo Hartenstein. His son is the center for the
Isaiah.
Oh, Isaiah.
That's
really
how old.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you remember Fred Jones? Like, some of these guys that they had. I mean, they went to the Sweet 16 anyway. But Flo was the center, and Flo Hartenstein, and his dad. He's the dad now of the Isaiah Hartenstein. But,
Isaiah.
So the game was a 10, 12-point game the whole time, Matt. We were losing, but we would get it down to 6, but they just started to pull away. But it was just one of those things, like, I just had it in my head. Coach was like, we don't ever. He just was never like the game. He didn't. And at the end too, no matter, like, that's when I would get to play a lot, because sometimes we'd be losing and guys would just kind of know the score and whatever, and I would just go hard. And so he would always play me, and but I was having a good game, and there was it's really funny because we had cut it down to 5. Someone missed a shot, and there was just a random tie ball. Like, I think Jeff Trapagna missed a 3, and Brandon Granville tied the guy up with like 2.9 seconds, and we're down by 5. Coach calls a timeout. Down by 5 is 2.9 seconds. They're talking about all the things. We hit they did a little play. I hit a 3 in the corner and put us down by 2. And I just remember he always was like, Adam, I'm not going to play if you don't sprint back. You got to sprint back because we can't, some of our point guards would crash. And he's like, if I wasn't crashing, he was like, always sprint back. And I remember just running and going, throw that? Like, I remember thinking, like, in my head, like, throw, like, it was point whatever left, and I just saw it. And I saw him do one of these, and I was like, I can get that. And I just ran over, and I grabbed it, and I just turned it, and I just set my feet and chucked it. But I was like, and I don't ever practice half-court shots. It was at half-court. no one practices that. And I shot it, and I thought it was going to be short. Like, I actually thought, it looked online, but I thought it was going to be short, and it went in. And we won. And I was like, oh, my gosh. But the thing is that they had these Oregon helmets that was like that hard hat day. Mm-hmm. And to this day, so when I made that shot, they were trolling me the whole time. And so I jumped up on the scorer's table, and I did the cutthroat sign, which is bad. I was bad.
Did you wait? But when you did the cutthroat sign, was it towards anybody? Was there anybody you were looking at?
No,
okay.
Hold on, I'll tell you. So
okay.
It was at the student section, and they were throwing the helmets at me, chucking the helmets. And I grabbed one, and I put one on, and I gave them the cutthroat sign because they were trolling the whole game.
Yeah, they deserved it.
Warm the bus up, like token white boy. They're like, pull your socks down. They were just all kinds of stuff. So they were trolling me the whole game. So when I jumped up on the scorer's table, Phil Knight, who's the CEO of Nike, was sitting at the scorer's table. I didn't know this till later. Apparently, I kicked his Diet Coke all over him, apparently. I did. But we were a Nike school. SC was a Nike school.
True.
But I was doing it at the stand, at the student section, and I still have that helmet to this day.
I love that.
But
that's
I still
amazing.
have the helmet to this day. That's a memory. They didn't show that, and then fast forward 14 years later, 12 and a half years later, I'm in an interview with Nick Bingy, who we both know. And the last question in the interview was, tell me what's going through your head when you jumped up on the scorer's table and gave someone the cutthroat sign. And he was not playing.
Out of nowhere.
Nick knows everything. Yeah.
At the end, I was like, because, that was the whole day. Like, social media, you know the people before social media, and you test them. And that was Nick, and I would love to get, Nick on a 4-way pod one time. But that was a question. That was everything. And I just that's like my wife tells my daughter, and I tell my son, like, an email and a text is like a tattoo. It's a stamp. It's there for forever. And so it's like those things, even now, I'm 13 years later in an interview getting asked, why did you give somebody the cutthroat sign? Because I was 21 and 22 and stupid.
Yeah, like the emotions you got to imagine, man. I've watched a lot of basketball. I don't know if I've ever seen just 3 seconds like that, right? And the emotions, I mean, anybody at that age probably would have done the same thing, right? You're having a little bit of fun. The vision I have in my head is Bibby running back towards the locker room, like in disbelief, like, let's get out of here. Can't believe we just won that game. And
in disbelief, complete
legendary.
disbelief.
Legendary, man.
And I'll tell you this, and this is the thing that I've learned is, and my answer at the time is obviously because I'm in the moment, and and because I was a stupid kid. But, the thing that I've learned more than anything now is that, like, tempering your emotions, because the same thing that makes me great is the same thing that can make me my own worst enemy. And so you have to learn, like I can't, like, I get mad at myself sometimes and get frustrated in business. Sometimes I'm a certain way, or I don't understand some of the kids that I have on my team and some of the younger guys, how their mentality and mindset, but, like, I don't expect them to be like me, but I have to remember the same things that frustrate me about myself are the same things that have gotten me to where I've, some of the things I've done and whatnot. But it was just funny. It's just Nick 101.
I love that.
But
yeah,
that's a good story.
Let me ask you this, man. What's your take on the landscape of college basketball? Obviously, it's changed a ton. College sports in general has changed a ton since you were there with NIL, transfer portal.
Yeah.
I'm just curious on your take, since it was a lot different when you played.
Well, so one of the things, I have a really good friend that when I stopped playing ball professionally, I started working as striker, and then I worked when I was at Entellus, and I played in the summer pro league where it was one guy who retired. His name is Jason Parker. He played at Tulsa University and played professionally. But I was talking to him about a month or so ago, and he was talking to me about now. He said, Adam, now, like, he goes, unless you're like a 5-star, he's like, they're not recruiting you. They want 23, 24, 25-year-old kids. And he's like, so a lot of these kids, like, if they're good or they're just like tweeners, as far as like a star, like they're good enough, like normal, they might have been a Division II or even a Division I player. They can't get Division I scholarships. They have to be patient. Maybe they go D2 or they go D1, but they got to know, hey, I might have to sit out 2 years or whatever, right, because they're bringing in 24, 25-year-old kids. And I saw this thing from John Calipari the other day when they were asking him about the state of college basketball, and he said it, and it's right. And he goes, right now the game looks better, but we're robbing basketball because like the 17, 18-year-old kid are no longer a priority. We're not, and we're not worried about graduation. We're not worried about school. We're not worried about anything but like, who can we get out of the portal at age 24, 25 who's like now ready? And so the game looks a little better, but he goes, I think we're stunning. I think we're stunning our future. And guys, if you look at the professional game and where basketball is now, I can tell you right now, I hear these things all the time about like, he doesn't have a bag and da-da-da-da. Some of these things I see online. The death of the mid-range game is gone in the NBA. And it's either, one of my good friends who's a coach in the NBA is like, they fine you, it's either a drive to the basket and a layup or a dunk, or you kick it out for three. They fine you if you shoot inside of like, 17, 18, 19, 20 feet. And here's the thing, look at the most effective players, Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Those guys that have mid-range games are the ones who are the most effective because it's gone. And so if you look at it, like there's no more, like Ray Allen was one of the most deadly three-point shooters, but like he could take you to the rack. He could pull up at 15. His game everybody had that. There's no mid-range game anymore. And that's the thing where I think that evolution is from college on, because of like, I think they have it in college, but once you get to the game, it's like, it's just different with the NIL and money. I don't know. You know what I mean?
It is. It's like, and to your point, it's about, does he have a bag? And it's all like straight line drives, get to the bucket or shoot a three. Like there's no efficiency at 15 feet. That part of the game seems to be dead. And I don't know if it's from high school or where it starts, but it's.
I think it's just, I think even the kids that have it in college, because they do have that game in college where they emphasize that. But then it's like, once you get to the pro team, they have their own sets with the G League and how you come up. And if you're on, this is the way we have our program from the G League. But look what it's done to college football. Like the greatest college football coach that we know, Nick Saban, and it's happening every year. K-State won the Big 12, two or 3 years ago. And that coach who turned that program around, he left. They lost him. Chris, I can't remember. Like, they're losing coaches every year, and that's happening in basketball as well. The guy who's at Virginia, Tony Bennett. But it's happening, with Saban, and then that one guy, Chris, whatever his name is. Like, it's happening in football. Like, we're running coaches off just because they can't deal with. I'm not dealing.
They don't want to deal with it.
They're coming in dealing with agents and not the kid. And he's like,
right.
I used to be able to develop the kid, and now it's like. Because he even said, like, I love listening to Saban, and he always loved college more because he's like, I felt like I could impact them more as younger kids. I don't know. Tough. What do you think about that?
No, I agree. I think it's tough now because I think they're not dealing with like just amateurs anymore and kids anymore. They're dealing with, I guess, basically professional athletes who are getting paid, some of them millions of dollars, and those kids are are hard to coach, or can be hard to coach. I think it adds a dynamic to coaching that's probably pretty tough. And also, it's not just who's going to win in the living room when you're recruiting. It's, how much can we offer this kid to come play? Because, I mean, that's whether we like it or not, it's a part of it. So to your point, Adam, I think a lot of these coaches are like, I don't want to, the game has changed too much and I don't want to deal with it anymore. So,
I mean, I agree. Unfortunately, I was going to say one thing I'll say about the mid-range. Obviously, to your point, you have Kevin Durant, Book, and them who thrive in the mid-range, and that's where Jordan lived, right? Jordan lived in the mid-range, and so you're either getting doubled at the top of the key, right, or you're getting help comes when you get past the mid-range, when you get closer to the bucket. So that's a place where you can just live. You're living one-on-one. You just need a little bit of room, and that's what we worked on growing up. I mean, literally, I could still shoot an elbow jump shot to this day, dribble around, like come right off, pull up, jump as high as you can, pull up, and nobody guards that. Nobody's helping out at the 17-foot spot. It's such a great place to live.
Look at where everybody ISOs now in the NBA. Like it started with Dirk getting the ball at the 20-foot right at the college three, and you even look at people like Dirk and Manu Ginobili who could shoot the three, but their mid-range pull-up game was. I mean, Manu would go to the basket all the way, and he's crafty how he would finish. But like the mid-range game and Tony Parker, like the NBA, it's I don't care what anybody says, like because like it's not near as good a product, and it's filtered down from I think in college just the emphasis on just money, and so that's why look at the best teams. Like look at Arizona, look at Michigan's roster. Like they got foreigners on there. They're getting 25-year-old. That's what they're getting. What do they call it? The Baltic Five. Illinois made the change. They got 5 Serbs.
Yeah, they got like a streamline. From Serbia. Right?
Yeah, they got Jokic's agent. He's the one that's responsible for all of their recruits. He's bringing them all over.
Who?
Jokic's agent is the one that is the feeder for Illinois, and that's why they got some real NBA players on that team though.
No, but like it's just but again, I think that things have these cycles because I remember like when Steph came in the league, and it was a couple years later when Clay came in, and then the game I think by 2012, 2013, where it was all threes, and they were just all of a sudden 2013, 2014, maybe 2015, like. You got to look at that 1 year. I think in 2022, Steph Curry made more threes with 12 games left in the season than like Larry Bird made in his career. Like they just didn't shoot him as much, and it just is how much different the game is now versus like the game when Clay had 60 points and he had on 9 dribbles.
Right.
I remember being a kid and watching Jordan hit his 6'3", and he shrugs. And that was like the craziest thing we had ever seen, somebody making 6 threes in a game,
It's completely different. I mean, even when we were Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Todd.
No, like it's just like, I mean, we were playing, it was, we were running a lot of sets. The game was much slower. You call a play every time you came down the court. Now it's, it's all, it's run and gun, it's fast paced. It's, pick and roll at the top of the key and create. The game's just so much faster. The 3-pointers become and I think Steph and those guys have revolutionized the game in that way. But
and we wanted to run on misses, and we emphasized that. But the coaches would be like, especially when I played, he didn't want to have to call a play every time down, so he wanted to run. But like if we got into a set, he was like, you follow that training the set where the shots are, and that's how. The game, like I say, the game is just different now. And again, it's fine. The NBA's always been a pick and roll and a one-on-one where you got a guy in the corner and then everybody just is on a string and you move up and everything. And that's even different. But like that part of the game is still the same. But like it's no more coming off the high pick and roll, pulling up at 17, 18 feet like Tony Parker would do or these guys would do. Now it's either go all the way in, lay it up, dunk it, or kick it out for all three. James Harden doing all this like wiggly, you know what I mean? All this wiggly jiggly, like you know what I mean? Like I'm like and he, there's some people that crossed over like the games, but like there's no mid range. And you look at Shea and some of those guys who are so effective. Like, look at him; he lives 14 to 18 feet in. Like he'll pull up and hezzy and just midi you to death.
Yep.
So and that's why those are the best guys right now. The ones that have a mid-range game in the NBA, like those are the best guys because nobody else has one.
because they're 3-level scorers, right? They can do it all,
Mm-hmm.
right? You had to guard them at all 3 levels. Let me ask you this as we backtrack. So we got into a little bit earlier, and I'm just interested because I'm sure you probably have some good takes or some good stories. But coming up, Adidas ABCD camp and Nike All American camp was like, that was the pinnacle, man. If you got invited to that as a high school kid, like you had made it. That's where the best players in the country went. Which ones did you attend, and talk about some of the players that you played against or saw, at those camps?
So they say that 96 was one of the best draft classes ever.
For sure.
The year before my class, so I didn't go. There was a conflict. I don't know what it was with Nike. I didn't go there, but I went to ABCD, and that was the best one at the time because it was a little bit more. It reached out where you got a little bit more players, and Nike was, I think, just top 60. And I think Adidas was top 100, and they had a different style format. But the way it was at Adidas at ABCD, and it's still like this now, is like you have your first level players playing the second and fourth quarter, and then the second, third level guys play in the first and the third quarter. And even though I was I ended up being the 23rd, number 23 player coming out of high school because of ABCD, but I played in the first and third quarter. And I played, and we won the ABCD championship. And I had some guys on my team that were really good. But Sharif Abdul-Rahim, who was the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, played 1 year at Cal. That's
great. Yeah.
Is a 6'10", 6'11" guy who could post you, could handle the ball, could shoot threes, could pull up, could midi, and I think he's the president of the D-League now.
Is he really? Okay.
But I think he is. But like we played him. I just remember we played in the championship game on the last day. We played and we didn't lose a game the whole time. And Sharif got MVP because Kevin Garnett was there. There was all these people there. Steph Marbury was there. Kobe Bryant was there going into his junior year. We were all going into our senior year. So they had the top 5 guys from 96 were there, like Shaheen Holloway, Tim Thomas, all these guys that were
Tim Thomas in Patterson, New Jersey, baby.
Tim Thomas, man. Oh man, and in high school too, and then all these guys. There was so many guys there that were so good. But I remember we were playing, Shaheen Holloway, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant in the championship game, and Kobe was a younger guy, so he was first and third quarter with me. And but I didn't know this at the time. Now I don't know who he is. I don't know his name from anybody. And y'all, I want to tell you this story about Kobe. Okay, so we have these random numbers, right? We have these random numbers. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but in the first quarter we're playing them, and I'm guarding this dude, and he's guarding me. And I might have had 12, 14 points in the game total, in the time. I had a good game, but it wasn't one of my better games, but I had a good game. And this dude was 0 for his life. And I'm pretty convinced to this day that they lost the game because of him, because they just got so far behind, because the dude would not shut up. And he was running his mouth. I'm cooking you, boy. What you doing, boy? I'm all running his mouth and bricking. Talking. Listen, y'all. And I'm gonna say this because I have a later Kobe story of later on down the line when I'm at SC when it's not the same. But I am this dude is causing them to lose the game. They're going down. We're getting all the balls. We're shooting everything. He's 0 for his life. We beat them. The game is over. Go get a program just to go look up number 188, whatever the hell his number was, because I was who the hell is this dude? I got to look him up. I just knew most people at the camp we would know. And I'm Kobe Bryant. I'm okay. And then fast forward, I see a year later, he's the number 1 player in high school. I'm anyway, but that was my first experience. But that was my first experience with Kobe. But I will tell you this. If you've ever asked people who guard him, because he obviously turned into an incredible pro, but if you ask Shane Battier, if you ask Rip Hamilton, some of these guys who guarded him, the relentlessness of him, that was the hardest thing about him, was he was relentless whether he was on fire or not on fire. He put so much pressure on you. And I can tell you as a thing, I didn't have anything to do with his success or not success. He just, I felt was missing. But that was just him. And that was my first encounter and experience with him at ABCD. But it was wild.
That's amazing. Do you want to piggyback off the second experience with Kobe?
Yeah.
No, I mean, the second experience with Kobe would be, maybe another time, but like the second experience would be, so his rookie year was my sophomore year in college, and he didn't hardly play, but that was towards the end of the year, the air balls, shaved head Kobe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Second year, Eddie Jones is still there, Nick Van Exel, Shaq, so he's coming off the bench. His second year, you guys may remember this, his second year, he comes off the bench. He's got the hair.
Yep.
That's the year he makes it to the All-Star game with KG. They both make the All-Star game as their second year out, but he is obviously coming off the bench, averaging 22. And people in LA were hating on him, like Kobe shooting on the balls. Like they hated on him. They're like, me and Shannon were like, man, y'all need to get off Kobe, man. Kobe's like we love Kobe, but they were all on him all the time, and like he would come up in the summer and play with us because like he wouldn't play with the Lakers in the off season. Like he would come up and play, and I've got a couple good stories, and he never connected the dots of who I was, but he knew me, so just from being local in LA, and he was just a fan, and that's who Kobe was, like as just a fan of basketball and being so intense. But you guys know I'll never forget to this day, Matt, and because Todd, you sent it to us when we heard about what happened to him, and I thought you were playing. And Kobe was like, for me, like I tore my Achilles, I rehabbed. The only thing that helped me really was like I started wearing the Kobe 4s, and that was where I could. The shoes had changed even then. We talked about the shoes when I was still playing, like where I could still transition and I mean Kobe was Kobe was
different,
everything, man.
Different.
And you talk about even now in LA, the murals and the people that when LeBron first came to LA and they were trying to write stuff, people were mocking them. Like, you know how LA people are, man.
They didn't, like, yeah.
LeBron isn't still at LA. I wouldn't say yet. He'll never.
I don't think he ever will be.
Kobe.
No, because Kobe, they came up in the same time. Yeah, they're Kobe
and the Lakers.
Yeah, the whole thing.
They're different about.
And you said something, man, that I think that is, man, you can just kind of relate to life. And I can listen to Kobe stories all day, but you said he was relentless regardless if he was hitting shots or not. He put so much pressure on you. And just in life, man, you used to be relentless whether things are going your way or not, to keep applying pressure. And that's it's a good message, man. And Kobe just, I think out of anybody, I mean, probably including Jordan, I think out of anybody, any professional athlete ever, I think the Kobe stories that you hear are the most motivating, because you hear so many of them. And
have you heard the Corey Maggette story about Kobe? Because I got two stories that, and I can tell you one from a personal experience one time, and we won't go into it now. But the first one is the Corey Maggette one, where in the offseason they used to kind of battle during the year with the Lakers and the Clippers. But Corey Maggette was, I mean, I don't know if he was ever an all-star, but he was not a slouch. Like
he's a great player. And I by the way, I've seen Corey Maggette recently at Equinox in Orange County. That man is in phenomenal shape. I mean, that guy is.
And he was always like a specimen and
always
looking like one and being one are two different things. But like
right.
He wasn't a slouch, and he was, But I remember in the offseason he was like, he said that one time in the offseason he was like, I'm going to work out with Kobe. And I heard this story, a couple of years ago, and it just, one of the things I think about Kobe, and it's just hilarious. But he's like, yeah, Kobe's like, okay, yeah, let's meet at 6 a.m. We'll meet or whatever. So he's like, he gets there at like 5:30, 5:45. He's going to beat Kobe. Kobe shows up at 6, and he's like, yes, I beat him here. And he gets out of the car, and they're walking in, and he's like, I beat you, Kobe. Yeah, I got here first. And Kobe was like, ha, and just like walked in, like he just laughed and walked in. And his trainer was like, we were on the track at 3 a.m. He shot. We made 500 shots at 4. He's like, we went and had breakfast at 5, and then he just iced his knees and came down. He's already worked out once. He's just doing this for you. And he said, like Corey Maggette's face just dropped. He was like,
different.
That's
so
hilarious.
Like
different.
Kobe didn't say anything. He was just like, ha.
Nope.
Because he didn't have to. That's the thing. Like, you could talk about it or be about it, and he was about it.
Always.
He was about it. Like,
and he always talked about that and just getting that extra hour above, his competitors every day. And while you stacking those in that bank, you get so far ahead at some point, there's no one's ever going to be able to catch up. He's putting so much work. So, Yeah, man.
Had to, because you guys know, because you've heard Gil talk about this, and I have too. Like, you talk about people like with a body, like Kobe was like NBA standards was like an S500, which is a nice car, but he played at like a Bugatti elite level, right? He didn't have extra large hands. He didn't have extreme jumping ability, although he could jump 36-inch vertical, 37-inch vertical. He was strong, but he wasn't the strongest. He was quick. He had a good first step, but he wasn't the quickest. Like, when you talk about like someone who had a great NBA career, and you think of like someone who was, I think, an underachiever by NBA standards, and he was a 10-time All-Star. Like, look at Vince Carter. Look at his athleticism, what kind of athlete he was. He didn't work hard.
I'd agree.
If you put Vince Carter's athleticism on Kobe, we're talking about the best player that's ever even came around. Like, so when you think about like that, Kobe didn't have those physical tools. Like, between maybe me and you, Todd, but like by NBA standards, Corey Maggette was faster. Corey Maggette could jump higher. Corey Maggette was stronger.
Yep. That's a great point.
Corey Maggette was nothing compared to Kobe. His will and his mindset were relentless, man.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing those stories, man. Let's transition a little bit to the NBA here. Adam, what do you think of Bam's 83?
Man, you had to go there, right?
We had to.
You already know, bro. What do you mean?
Okay.
I think we're going to have the same opinion on this one. I do.
Okay, so I have seen a lot of the trolls on this, okay? And a lot of people, like, at first hating, and then a lot of people coming out being like, what the heck, and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. He scored whatever. Like, 85 is 85. I don't even – what did he score?
83.
90 is not – I don't even – whatever he did. Okay. And I'll send it later, but I watched this interview that Brian Shaw gave maybe a month or so before that, and then they replayed it. And 3 weeks before Kobe scored 81, they were playing the Dallas Mavericks at home, and you can actually go up and look at the date. At the end of the third quarter, Kobe had 62 points. At the end of the third quarter, he was out. They were up by 36 points. Phil sends Brian Shaw down and says, Kobe, you want to get to 70. You want to come in. Kobe looked at the score. He's like, no, man. Like, he had 62 points. He's like, no, man, we're up 35. Let the young guys run. Like, no. Brian Shaw's pissed. He's like, bro, like, you can get 70. He's like, man, whatever, we'll get it. 3 weeks later, they're in a game. They're down most of the game. They do pull away in the last 3 or 4 minutes, but the thing about Kobe's 81 is that they were losing at home by 27 points. They were losing. Look this up, people. Like, this is so different. And again, like, I get the whole thing with like the whole thing with like Bill Belichick. Like, if you don't like it, then stop it. Like the whole, like they were fouling on purpose so he could get to the thing, and like he's jacking up threes, and you cannot watch that and tell me in a 40-point game it's the same thing. Like, and I'm not taking anything away from it, that because like he had like, what did he have at the end of? He had 60 at the end of 30, right?
I think he had 30 in the first quarter. He went crazy in the first quarter. Yeah, he was hooping, but
I think he had 60 at the end of 3, but they were up by like 36 points.
And you're playing the Wizards, who are their 3 best players aren't playing. They're trying to lose. You know what I mean? So it's different.
So you cannot tell me. I don't care who it is, and I get the purity of the game or whatever. They are not the same.
I agree. I agree. We agree on something.
And Kobe, and listen, and how many free throws did Kobe shoot in that game? Like 14 free throws.
At 45. It was
45?
45, bro. That's
Go look at the stats, man, because it was a competitive game. Ask Jalen Rose. Ask Mo Peterson. Some of these guys who were in that game trying to stop Kobe. Like, it was a legit 81. Like,
someone did ask Jalen Rose.
Yeah, so dude,
run the clip.
I was in Indianapolis this weekend, and we're in St. Elmo's, which is like, you know, the institution there, right in downtown Indy, like they said. Jalen Rose walks by, and one of my boys looks at him, and obviously he's the biggest Kobe fan, like the biggest Kobe fan there is. You know, he died, you know, bleed for Kobe, right? And he turns and goes Jalen, and Jalen like kind of looks at him, and he's like, what do you think of Bam's 83 compared to Kobe's 81? And, like, he was on video, so he didn't really want to answer. Obviously, for those that don't know, Jalen Rose was guarding Kobe when he dropped 81. So, you know, a little bit of a loaded question, but he was kind of like, I'll send you the video. He didn't say much, and he kind of walked off. But this is just the other day.
When you said that.
But the best commercial of all time, have you seen the commercial of all time? The best commercial of all time is the old Nike commercial. Kobe is sitting at a bar by himself in a booth, and they ask him what he wants to drink, and he's like, I want a martini. And he's like, he sees Jalen Rose, and he's like, they're like, how many, you want any olives or whatever? And he's like, how many do you want? And he's like, 81. Just like looks at him. Jalen Rose just like looks at him, and he goes, just give me. You guys
I forgot about that commercial.
Yeah, I got to find that
commercial. It is awesome. It
is
the most awesome commercial. Yeah, anyway, it's not
the same,
bro, and I don't. It's not the same. They're and again, taking nothing away from Bam. I don't know the guy. He's a great player, but if you put Kobe and Bam in the same sentence, I might fight you at my old age. Like, it's not the same.
Well, here was my take. I was watching it. Somebody texted me like, Bam has 72, so I go and I watch it, and obviously, like, I mean, they're picking him up full court because he's already, like, fouling and, you know, he's shooting threes like crazy. A couple things that I thought of, though, as I'm watching. One, in my mind, I'm like, he's not actually going to pass Kobe, right? They're going to stop him. And no, they stopped him at 83. So they should have stopped him at 80 if that's what they're going to do. Don't pass Kobe. Don't tie Kobe. That's my thought. Two, Eric Spoelstra is, like, supporting this, which he's one of the best coaches that we've ever seen. And he understands. And it's like I remember, to your point, when Clay had 60 through 3 in that game where he dropped 37 in the third quarter. I mean, the Warriors are up by 100 like they were every game in that 73-night season. And they take him out. Like, obviously, him or Steph could have got 81 maybe at some point.
They could have. Yeah, they could have. And Clay could have probably got more than 80 that day. And that's why, to this day, I'm always going to call Eric Spoelstra, to this day, Kumar. To this day. Whenever I refer to him, he will never be Eric Spoelstra again the rest of my life. He'll be Kumar. You can hand out as many locker room fines to me as you want. Spoelstra, it's your Kumar to this day.
This is too good.
All right, we're on the same page.
I love it.
I'm sorry.
I love it.
Because it's not the same, man. And it makes me mad because, like, a lot of other people could do it. And it's just like, it's not even a baseball thing with, like, oh, you don't step on the plate. Or it's just like, you just didn't do that. Like, it was legitimate. Nobody said anything. They had social media then. Nobody was, like, it was a legitimate 81.
Yes.
They did that to win the game. And they even still took him out with a minute and a half to go in the game when they finally had gone up.
And my other thing was, like, why are you stopping at 83? Why not just get 100 now? Like, there's a minute and almost 2 minutes left. Just get 100. What's the difference? You know? So
that's the difference.
Well, I'm glad that we agree on that, because I don't know what, you know, if we're about to agree on the next topic, but I guess if you wouldn't mind, I would love to know who your top 5 players are of all time NBA history in order. And you can go from 5 to 1 or 1 to 5. It's your choice.
So here's the thing. What I would like to do, and this is the one thing while we're on the Kobe topic, because here's the thing. If you ever wanted to consider Kobe being number 1 or number 2, which I don't have him at, but if you ever wanted him to consider that, I just want to say this, and I saw this percentage, and go look this up. Playoff wins and who you played against in the playoffs. Kobe, in his career, 85% of his playoff opponents had at least 50 wins. So he played in his career by far the biggest gauntlet, the hardest gauntlet of players to this day. Even LeBron and Magic to this day are at 50%. Larry Bird's at 60%. Michael Jordan's at 67%. Steph's at like 61%. Tim Duncan's at 65%. Look at your percentage of opponents throughout your career. There's no one. There's a 65% who I think Tim Duncan is in that at 65%. And then the next closest one is Kobe. 85% of his, and we're talking about people in the top 10, arguably Steph, arguably Tim Duncan, wherever you want to put them, in whatever arena and whatnot. But 85% of his opponents were, so he played a gauntlet all the time. And I don't have him in my number 1 or 2. But the other thing I just want to say, and I have to give context, because when we get to this list, I do want to give some context to basketball, because I grew up, I feel like, a little different than you guys. And when we get to the Larry Bird topic, I can go, why? Because even at Matt, I think are you 42, Matt, or 41?
43.
43. Okay, so anybody 43 and younger would disagree, but anybody 43 and over is going to 100% agree when we get to the Larry Bird scale, because I can tell you, like, when I grew up, I remember, like, I watched him. Like, I watched these things, hating him and, like, being like, God dang, like, and watching those rivalries and watching him play and watching what he did. And I have some things that'll blow your mind today. So, and we can talk about it, but I have my top 5, of course, Mike.
Okay.
And
I think we all agree there.
Mike 1, Kareem, I have number 2, and nobody talks about Kareem, and here's the reason why. Because Shaq is the most dominating player of all time, and there was nobody who could do what Shaq could do. And I'm going to put Kareem over there for a couple reasons. Number one, Kareem, you knew what was coming. You still couldn't stop him. He changed the game in college. They changed the game in the NBA because of Kareem. And then number 2, the reason why, man, Kareem is a 77% free throw, 80% free throw shooter for his career. Like, wow. You could play Kareem in the late games, and then the only reason why I give him head-to-head over Shaq, we're not talking about championships. We're not talking about anything else. Kareem, until LeBron passes him,
here we go.
Until LeBron, and this is the thing, like wine. Like, yeah, if you leave it in the cabinet long enough, it's going to, Anyway, like, Kareem is the – so I got Mike 1, I got Kareem 2, I got Kobe 3, I got Magic 4, and I got Bird 5. Now, only reason why I have Kobe and ahead of Magic is the 85% win percentage in the 5 rings. The only reason why I have Magic ahead of Bird, because was Magic a more complete player than Bird? Absolutely not even close. But Magic was, he did have a better supporting cast, but he won 5 championships despite the fact that he pissed down his leg in the '84 series. If you guys watch that, I mean, Bird, they shouldn't have had that. Magic lost them that, which some people will say to this day, he maybe even rigged that, right? Because he had 2 terrible turnovers at the end of overtime when he just dribbled the ball out instead of shooting. So that's my top 5. That's who I got. And I cannot wait you guys to talk to me and make a comparison about Larry Bird and KD, because you are going to get cooked to death. So anyway, like LB was cooking. But, like, what is your top 5? I want to hear. So first of all,
Matt, you want to go? Then I'll go after.
I want to go, Matt. I want to hear you, Matt.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay,
I'm going to go Matt. Mike 1, Kobe 2, which I had Bron ahead of him until, like, I wanted all the reasons in the world to put Kobe ahead of LeBron. I couldn't come up with them. And then it's funny because Shannon Sharp, who's obviously like a bigger LeBron stan than Todd is, right? The biggest.
Oh my gosh. Does he have a Miami Heat for doormat?
Yeah, Todd still has all of them.
He has that anymore.
He has 2 Cleveland ones.
Doormats.
Yeah, he does.
Doormats.
It was a gift, and y'all must know it was a gift. And yeah, it was nice, bro. But I don't like the Heat anymore, so I threw it away.
Yeah. So he said, one of the things he said, it's like one of the only negative things he's ever said about LeBron is he said, like, he's like, look, man, I'm a Hall of Famer. I don't have an impact on the game as a tight end that LeBron has. You know, obviously basketball is different, but he wasn't even at the quarterback or the receiver position or anything like that. And he's like, we would go out there and fight every day. And if our coach got fired at the end of the season, then we did something wrong. It's on us to, like, make sure coach keeps his job. And he said one of the things that bugs him the most about LeBron is that LeBron points at the coach and blames the coach and gets the coach fired instead of actually, like, caring if he kept the coach's job. So then you flip LeBron to 3, behind Kobe at 2. I'm going to go, and it was hard for me to – Todd put Steph in the top 5 before I did. And I always wanted to, but I feel like it's too emotional. You know what I mean? So I go Steph. Steph became 4 after 21, 22 to me. And then I have a hard time with Shaq and Magic at 5, but I'm going to go Shaq for all the reasons you mentioned.
Yeah, and Shaq, and again, I don't think, like I say, you can talk to whoever for whatever reason, depending on if you're building a team Like, I heard Shaq say, if you're building a team, and he goes, you want somebody, if you have me at the 5 and you have Tim Duncan at the 4, who's the greatest power forward ever, and then you have Mike at the 2 and Kobe at the 3, you have to put Steph Curry at the 1 because he's the greatest shooter or one of the best shooters ever. And at the point guard position, they can't then guard me. And if you're constructing a team that way for a top 5, of course you put them there ahead of Magic. Of course you do ahead of like maybe a Jason Kidd. But like, you guys, we don't even talk about John Stockton. And y'all need to listen to some people talk about John Stockton, because I'm not gonna put John Stockton ahead of Steph Curry. I'm not, because John Stockton doesn't have a championship and Steph has. But I can guarantee you right now, if Steph Curry was playing in the 90s, the 80s and 90s, Steph Curry got 0 chips with John Stockton. 0.
Oh,
0
my
chips.
God.
0 chips.
This is what we're waiting on.
Wow.
Okay.
Zero. Just like
wow.
Wait a minute. Just like John Stockton, just like Charles Barkley, who, to me, if you talk to anybody about the 92 Dream Team, like, Charles Barkley was the gas. Charles Barkley, outside of Michael Jordan in the 90s, Charles Barkley was the best player in the early 90s outside of Michael Jordan. He was the number 2 player in the NBA at that time. And so I'm just saying, depending on how you're constructing a team, Steph, I got no problem with him in the top 5. Who'd you put it after Steph? Shaq. Hey, and here's the one thing the Diesel says. He always made him when he had to. They did have the Hack-a-Shaq, and people got back in games, and they did win them because of the Hack-a-Shaq. But I'm just saying, but that's
a good point.
Problems with Shaq. I have no problems with Shaq. He is the most dominating force in the hit, because I cannot sit here and say I watched these things. I can remember, teams had 4 centers because of Shaq. Like, he was a force of nature that was, like, he was mean, he was nasty, you knew what was coming, and you could do nothing about it. Shaq was, except for the 96 series when Dennis Rodman shut him down, and, he was still a young Shaq, but he'd probably beat me up if I said that. But
to your point, though, like those Bulls teams, you had Luke Longley and all these guys just come off the bench just to get fouls and go back to the bench.
And it was such a revenge in '96 because that Mike came back and lost to the Magic, and he wasn't in shape and he didn't have the lift. But Shaq was becoming a force of nature, and that team was constructed to win. Y'all need to understand that in that '96 series, I watched Dennis Rodman 90% of the time guard Shaq and frustrate him, slow him down, shut him down. And Shaq was not the player he was. I don't think Dennis Rodman could have done that to 2000 to 2005 Shaq. But in '96, he was able to, with even a better roster.
Rodman, one of the best defenders in NBA history, quite honestly.
He used to frustrate Mike. He had Scotty's head. I don't know where. We don't talk about Dennis Rodman as being one of the greatest players, because if you're starting a team,
he didn't score.
How do you start a team without the second or third greatest shooter of all time and Steph Curry?
Why second or third? Are you talking about Ray Allen right now?
I'm just saying Steph Curry's not the greatest 3-point shooter of all time. Not
what?
No.
Adam, what are you talking about?
No.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
Can I finish? So
yes,
Curry,
please.
I had to give you guys some fodder. So Steph Curry is the greatest dribbling shooter of all time. Meaning he can dribble and pull up from 3. By far, he's the greatest. But you're telling me, you're saying Steph Curry's a greater shooter than Miller? Steph Curry's a better shooter than Ray Allen? Steph Curry's a better shooter than oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. That's so bad. That's bad. But I have no problem with it.
Enter anybody, yes.
Anybody you want, the answer I would say is yes.
Well, let me tell you real quick before we start,
guys, we've never even talked about that, because when people say he's the greatest 3-point shooter of all time, I don't have a beef with it. Like, he's not my greatest 3-point shooter of all time. Off the dribble, yes, but he's not my greatest 3-point shooter of all time. Reggie Miller. And
why? In your perspective, obviously, why?
Because because in the 90s, the way the game was called and the way the game was played, Steph Curry is Craig Hodges. That's why. In the 90s, because the game was so physical. Well, hold on a second. The game was so physical. The game in the 90s. Now listen, you guys, Steph Curry is 175, 180 pounds soaking weight at 6'2", 6'3". And I'm not saying we didn't have – Allen Iverson was tough as nails. And Allen Iverson was also a jet and could score on anybody. And Allen Iverson could play in the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. Okay? They're not the same many. But Steph Curry changed basketball for forever because he was like shooting from 40 feet because he had to when he was younger. And this is what he did to be able to play. So his greatness is unparalleled. But y'all, we just have to talk about what context we're talking about. In the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, y'all, we had Steph Curry players like then. What was Chris Jackson? Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Like, this was a dude who was a killer in the 80s and 90s.
He was a killer.
Right?
I'll give you that.
A killer.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf was a problem.
And he was little,
great.
6'1", 6'2". So I can't sit here and say Steph Curry would be Craig Hodges. I can't because of a guy like a Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. But you put him from the early 80s, he was averaging 23, 24 points a game, and NBA ran him off because he didn't want to stand because he was Muslim. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
right.
You put Steph Curry. So this is me talking real, like, and y'all are hearing me on that, because if we're talking about eras, I mean, it was just different hand checking. Like, Michael Jordan would average 50 points a game right now. You cannot hand check. You can't hand check. Like, he averaged 37 points a game when they had Jordan rules. Like, I think NBA players said that. I think you have NBA players on the hook for saying he'd average 50 in today's game with hand checking. I mean,
well, Jordan's a different beast. I mean, and I'll go down my top 5 real quick just for context. I think y'all know what it is, though. I got Mike at 1. We all agree there. Obviously, I got LeBron, Ramon, James at 2, which Adam is going to hate. I got Kobe at 3, Kobe Bean Bryant. I got Steph at 4. I got Kareem at 5. I went back and forth with Kareem and Shaq, but to a lot of your points earlier, that's why I have Kareem in there. And my second group of 5 would be.
But who did you have him before this though?
I did.
I said that.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
How does Kareem get lost in all this? Like,
I don't know. Kareem was so great, and maybe because I grew up in LA,
so
and you still hear about Kareem a lot just growing up in LA. That's probably why. Like, he's still relevant.
Like the game. Like, my dad could not play his freshman year in college because of Kareem. Like freshmen were ineligible. Like, Kareem changed the game, man. Like, you couldn't dunk in college. Like, they changed the game in the pros. The circle in the lane, they changed because of Kareem. Like, not Bill Russell, not Oscar Robertson. Kareem, man.
Kareem.
Oh
God,
and like was a force of nature.
Yeah, UCLA and the Lakers and all that used Kareem is still so.
You take him back to Power High School. His championships from winning in high school, winning in college, winning with the Bucks, winning with the Lakers. Man, Kareem, his greatness is, a lot of people, purists, will have a problem that he's not one. But
my second group of 5 would be Magic, Duncan, Shaq, Bird, and then your favorite player, Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that's and again, but here's my thing. So you can put, like, and you're putting them above. I know, because we look at longevity. KD being a freak of nature, like, no one's going to have a problem with that. I'm just saying, I like that it's not a position top 5, because I don't like it. People doing positions as top 5, just your top 5 greatest, right? Because obviously you can't play with Kareem, Shaq, and Bill Russell at once. But I'm just saying, who's your top 5? But like, how's Charles not in there? Like,
okay,
because the championship and Duncan, you put Duncan above him.
Because I think Duncan's the greatest, to your point earlier. I think he's the greatest power forward of all time. And obviously, it's also a part of me being able to witness the greatness of these guys and what Tim Duncan was doing at that time. Like, I saw a lot of these guys play. Aside from, like, Kareem, I didn't see him or Magic or Bird as much. But Duncan was just the big fundamental man. There's nothing you can do with him.
And when you talk about
so efficient.
Yeah, his greatness is next level.
Well, when you talk about what's coming and you can't stop it, that's Tim Duncan to me in a nutshell. Having watched his
off
career,
the glass, even Shaq couldn't stop him.
Yep.
Nobody could stop him. I mean, they, the reason why they beat the Spurs, in 04 and then again and kept beating them until 03 was because of Kobe, and it was because of Shaq in 03 being so out of shape and so fat and so inefficient at the free throw line is why ultimately the Spurs got over the hump in 2003 and beat them. But if you look at Kobe's numbers, Kobe, it's Kobe carried that team when they didn't have a great. I mean, Rick Fox, Dirk Fisher, like Robert Horry.
Rick Fox.
I mean, they were all good players. Fox, they were all good players, but they weren't Manu. They weren't, Tony Parker. Like they weren't. No, man. Gosh, those are all-time greats, man.
Yeah, I agree. There's a couple of things go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say I tend to agree with Todd. With Todd's, I don't know how I'd stack them, but with the second five, I mean, I can't disagree with that. Obviously, look, if you're gonna say greater players, and you look at Larry Bird's resume compared to Kevin Durant's resume, I mean, it's hard to put that resume above that resume. If I'm talking just, and this is where it starts, boys. If I'm talking just eye test watching hoop, I mean, maybe I'll give you a Jack Harlow quote. Maybe that's what it is. The ones that hate me the most look just like me. You tell me what that means. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But man, my life's on the line. I'm taking Kevin Wayne Durant all day.
You're getting your ass cooked.
I am too. And let's hear why. You're ready for this, Adam. I know you're ready for this.
I'm ready for this because it's not even a conversation. If you know basketball.
But for context, people need to know that me and Matt think that Kevin Durant is a better player overall all time than Larry Bird. Obviously, Adam strongly disagrees. He's going to make us look stupid.
And if you guys actually, and to play a quote of someone saying, "Oh, he's greater," like I say, if you're 42, 41 and younger, you might say that because of KD, because his greatness. We're not talking about a bum. We're talking about one of the greatest scorers of all time, one of the best mid-range, one of the best shooters, one of the best innovators of being able to handle the ball and do things. He's never been a post-up player, right? He's been a perimeter player his whole career, and to be who he was in his greatness, Kevin Durant is there. And so before we go into that, it's one thing too. I hate in the all-time greats that we miss all the time is because if you were to talk to anybody about Akeem Olajuwon against Patrick Ewing, against David Robinson, against Shaquille O'Neal, against Shaq, he cooked all them dudes.
I agree. That was another one out of
and again, I'm not putting him over Kareem, and I'm not even putting his greatness over. But this dude defended. He's on all NBA teams. He's leading the league in steals and blocks and rebounds. Mm-hmm. This dude could handle the ball. Like Olajuwon, all them dudes. And we're not even talking about him. And I'm not putting him over Shaq.
Well,
but I'm just saying.
I have Akeem as my third best center.
He is. Me too. I have that. I have him as a third. But if I'm building a team and my power forward is Duncan, then yes, I'm choosing Shaq. But if my power forward is Karl Malone or Charles Barkley, I might choose Olajuwon because I might need a little bit more defensive presence and smarts and maybe even shooting, than I would Shaq. Because
Olajuwon's one of those ones, man.
Who's playing up against him, right? Because these are guys like if you're playing talking about the greatest power forward ever, Shaq or Kareem. And I'm putting Kareem all day over Shaq because he shot 80% from the free throw line. You guys, I can give you rough stats. I have exact things, and we're going to talk into real details. Kevin Durant, 27 points a game. Larry Bird, 24 points a game. Kevin Durant, 6.7 rebounds a game. Larry Bird, 10 rebounds a game. Kevin Durant, we're talking about 4 assists per game. Four assists per game. We're talking about LB assists per game.
6.
We're talking about 6.3 assists per game. We're talking about, okay, here's one thing, guys. You talk about these things about cooking and not cooking. So Larry Bird was a rookie in 79-80. Who cooked him in the national championship game, who was also a rookie that year?
Magic
Johnson. Yeah. who was the NBA Rookie of the Year, who was first-team All-NBA in his rookie year. Now, here's what I'm going to say about Kevin Durant and LeBum. Kevin Durant was in his fourth year before he made an All-Star team. Okay? Kevin Durant was in his fourth year before he made an All-Star team. Larry Bird was All-NBA, his first-team All-NBA, his first 9 years in the NBA. Now, he played a total of 13 years. 1 year he didn't even play. Another year his last year he played 45 games. So he had essentially 11 full seasons, being 9-time first-team All-NBA, and then a 10-year being a second team. Okay, his greatness, 2.4 steals per game. 2 second-team All-Defensive teams. 2 second-team All-Defensive teams. The only non-center, 3 straight MVPs. Okay, the only non-center, 3 straight MVPs, 84, 85, 86. Kevin Durant hasn't touched a defensive team in his life, nor would he be. So when you tell me that Kevin Durant's cooking Larry Bird, first of all, Kevin Durant cooks a lot of people, okay? But he's going to cook a lot of people. But Larry Joe Bird is working Kevin Durant to death and going to tell him where he's going, how he's going to do it, and what he's going to do. And guess what? There isn't a person who's 45 and older who's going to disagree with me because they watched this greatness. You see the vein point out of my head, like you watch the greatness. You watch the greatness of Larry Bird. How can we compare these two guys? Because Kevin Durant's one of the greatest scorers of all time. But if we're talking about one-on-one or you're choosing a team, y'all, there isn't a former NBA player choosing Kevin Durant over Larry Bird ever. This guy averaged 10 points a game, 10 rebounds a game, 7 assists a game, 3 steals a game, 2 All-NBA defensive teams, 10 straight All-NBA teams in the greatest era.
Is it the greatest era?
That's the
Do you
question.
believe it's the greatest era? That's the question. Honestly,
the greatest era. No, the 80s was not the greatest era because until 1982-83, it was still cocaine era. The greatest era by far of the NBA was 1985 to 2005. Those 20 years are the greatest 20 years of the NBA by far. And so there was a carryover effect where you had players like Kobe in the 90s who could still probably play in the 80s, and you had that carryover effect. But when you're talking about Kevin Durant, could he play in the 80s and 90s? Absolutely. Kevin Durant is not doing what Larry Bird's doing.
I don't think it's yeah, I hear you. And I don't think it's a crazy comparison. Kevin Durant did shoot better from higher field goal percentage and 3-point percentage than Larry Bird.
By one, we're talking about he has a 39%. Kevin Durant is a 39% 3-point shooting.
37.
And Larry Bird is 37. We're talking about 50% field goal percent shooter. Larry Bird 49%. So even if you want to say shooting, I would say Kevin Durant maybe is a greater shooter. Probably. I
still think it's a
problem with that.
2 championships for 3, and people don't give Kevin Durant a hard time, which I don't mind.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Can I talk championships? Okay. This is the problem. Okay, because we're going to go into the greatness. Okay. So this is what did happen.
Okay.
So Magic and Michael and Bird, those guys, listen, those guys wanted to beat them. They didn't want to go join him. And in 2015 and 2016, Kevin Durant's team was up 3-1 in 2016.
I agree with you here.
Back and lost. Hold on. And he left the team. He left the team he couldn't beat to go and make them complete and win. So it's no different than me putting Kareem above Shaq, because at the end of the game, if I'm picking one center, I got to have Kareem in the game because he can shoot free throws. So we're talking about a greatness. Kevin Durant could not get over the hump to win a championship until he had to leave the team he couldn't win to go join it. And that's LeBron's fault, because when we talk about the LeBron comparison, the unwritten rule amongst NBA players, you know what it was in the All-Star game? Everything's thrown out the door. The fourth quarter, we're going at each other's throat. That was always the NBA written rule. Everybody knows this. Anybody who's played a minute or a year, or even people who didn't play, they know the unwritten rule in the NBA was the All-Star game is fun and gun. To the fourth quarter, we're going at your throat. And in 2009 or 2013? When was the year that Kobe challenged? It was 2008. The 2008-2009 All-Star game. LeBron would not go at him. He was throwing the ball away and kicking it. And you watch that All-Star game, Kobe is taking his lunch. They're picking him up full court. like we're talking about in the greatness between the two and how LeBron changed the landscape. That's the point I'm making with Kevin Durant joining. It's probably LeBron's fault, but like, how can you put him above Larry Bird? Because he couldn't even beat the team that he had to go and join.
Well, I'll give you that. One thing I won't say is LeBron did not create the super team. First of all, the Lakers tried the super team. It didn't work with Karl Malone and Steve Nash. Then you had Ray Allen.
That's a little different, though. That's a little different.
But yeah, Kevin Durant and Ray Allen going to
Karl Malone and Karl the 2004 thing with Karl. They were 20-year vets.
Blame the Celtics when KG and Ray Allen went to Boston with Paul Pierce.
Listen, you could say that's super team. I'll let LeBron off the hook for that. If that's what you were looking to do, let somebody off the hook. But how do you do like?
I get the Kevin Durant.
It wasn't like Kevin Durant or Kevin Garnett couldn't beat the Lakers 2 straight years they lost in the Western Conference Finals. He didn't then go join the Lakers.
I hear you. Okay.
He went to had cap space and one of the greatest small forwards ever in Paul Pierce. He joined them, and then Ray Allen came. I'll give you that. He didn't go join them.
I hear you. That's my one gripe with Kevin Durant is that he was up 3-1.
He's great.
And then he left. The only saving grace is that he was the best player on those Warrior teams when they won the championship.
And they would have won 3 straight in his 3 years if he didn't tear his Achilles.
They would have won however many they wanted to, probably.
If Draymond didn't get in the way, or you know what I mean?
Clay got
leaving.
hurt.
So
even if Clay or KD, one of them stays healthy, they're beating Toronto, right? So
I think so. And they got 3 straight.
Yeah.
And do you think he leaves? If they win that, do you still think he leaves?
I don't know, man. He's like he's pretty emotional, and he was getting a lot. He gets a lot of shit for going there, right? So he wanted to go win, so he goes with Kyrie and Harden, and maybe if his foot wasn't on the line, who knows? But one thing I will say before we get too far down this rabbit hole is, one, I think LeBron gets all the heat because of the way Drew Rosenhaus or whoever it was had him do the decision. So everyone's blaming that on LeBron.
Terrible.
That's bad. One. Yeah. And then two,
we look back on the decision now as being so god awful, but at the time, people weren't killing it. I'll just tell you that they weren't at the time. They weren't killing it. They are now because of the ego-ness of it and just how maniacal it is. But like at the time, they really weren't.
Yeah.
Keep going, Matt. Sorry.
Yeah. So last thing is obviously, there was about a third less teams in the NBA now than there was when Larry Bird came in. And so obviously,
like Matt, there's not a third. There's like 6 teams. You can only play who's in front of you, bro.
Hold on. So there's like 22 teams. So it's close to a third, right? What I'm trying to say is, if you watch highlights of Larry Bird, man, obviously he was dominating. That dude, molasses, right? Slow as all get out. Right, so the athleticism difference is where he gets cooked, bro. It's just like I know Adam's about to lose his mind, but I mean, watching him a reverse layup that he puts up now is getting pinned off the top of the backboard.
Bro, listen, Larry Bird is 6'10", is telling you where to go. He shoot the ball right here. I do to this day. You could not touch his shot. Nobody's cooking him. Y'all had people like this in the league. Hold on, we had poor man versions of Kevin Durant. We had Detlef Schrempf and Tom Chambers who were 6'11" and freak athletes who get cooked by Larry Bird. Like we're talking about guys we talk about some of these people like Larry Bird. It didn't matter who it was. Larry Bird 6'10". Have you seen Larry Bird? Have you met Larry Bird? I'm 6'7", y'all. Larry Bird's 3.5 inches taller than me. Larry Bird is, and KD is too, but man, he's putting his elbow in KD's little punk out, probably breaking his rib. Come on,
KD grew up in PG County, bro. I don't think Larry Bird's bringing him anything he didn't see growing up in PG, man. Come on now.
Listen, Larry Bird isn't, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. You look at like Byron Scott, and you look at like Dominique Wilkins, one of the greatest scorers of all time. Like you look at where they're from, their neighborhood. Neek. Man, Neek, you
think he's one of the greatest scorers of all time?
Oh, listen, Dominique had an 8-year run of being a problem, but just his teams, right, and being in the East with Mike and the Knicks, right, and the Heat, right. But like We're talking about some dudes who were they were not playing. You didn't talk. Messed with Byron, like Byron Scott's from Morningside High School. Like, he's from Inglewood. He was not playing. He was a dude in the day. We're talking about who was the dude from the Knicks? Not Anthony Mason, the other dude, the crazy dude.
Oakley.
Xavier
Charles
McDaniel.
Oakley? Oh, McDaniel.
Xavier, yeah.
Man,
X-Man.
Them dudes, talk to them. Larry Bird was no hoe. He was telling them exactly what they were doing, where he was going. I'm just telling you, he called Dominique Holmes. He's like, they got you guarding me, Holmes. Like I promise you, dude is going into any hood. Them dudes were scared of Larry Bird. You need to walk the most hardest dudes. Then they were harder than they were smoking cigarettes and doing cocaine at halftime. Like some of those in the earth. Now that was before Larry, but y'all, Larry was the respect that he had. I'm just telling you, he's murdering KD, murdering him.
I just know that when I and maybe it's recency bias. When I watched Kevin Durant, I've seen him live a couple times. At his height,
so good.
The skill, he is so good. You know what I mean? So maybe it's that he's one of the best scorers, pure scorers that I've ever seen. Again, three level scorer, can do it all. The problem is Kevin Durant can guard when he needs to guard. He just doesn't do it.
He can. And Todd, you're right. But
before he got hurt, he was a pretty elite perimeter defender.
But guys, in the NBA context, right? Larry Bird, the passing and the rebounding, in the biggest games. Kevin Durant, guys, he's a freak of nature. He's scoring. He's a better scorer than Larry Bird. He's a better shooter than Larry Bird. He is not a better complete player, and his resume isn't even close.
Well, the resume's not close.
It's not even close to Larry Bird.
Not even close.
In what way? Resume in what way? Is it because of longevity too? Because if you look at the Larry Bird versus Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant 16 All-Stars, Larry Bird 12. He played longer, sure. They both have 2 Finals MVPs. 11-time All-NBA Kevin Durant, 10 for Larry Bird. He played longer.
No. I'm talking about a context. Larry Bird played. He played 6 games one season and 40 games another, and we're calling that 13 years. He was an all-star, 45 games. He played 12 out of 13 years. KD is not. And All-NBA 10 times out of his basically 12 years. First team All-NBA 9 of those times. And, it's not even the same. And so this is the start of the era. But KD is a freak. His resume isn't there defensively, and I know he can guard.
True, resume is not there. I agree. The resume
is there anything? And obviously, look, I don't remember. I don't have the stats, but obviously, Boston was a better not only franchise but team when Larry Bird started than Seattle Supersonics, right? So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Obviously, you could ball out or not, right? Making it. Obviously, if what Larry Bird did in early on in his career is incredible. KD did not, but at the same time, I don't know if that's part of it.
But Matt, at the end of the NBA era, because in '92, Larry Bird's last year, we had the Orlando Magic and I think one other franchise team, Vancouver, right? We had the Grizzlies, the Vancouver at the time. We had. So I think right now, there's only 4 teams more. Maybe I think that's it. So expansion is there, but that's not. The NBA being watered down.
Well, that's what they use that. They use that against Jordan, and they say that during his time they added 6 or 8 teams or 6 teams, and so you add 30 players essentially or whatever immediately. But
we saw Jordan at 41.
Jordan
buckets.
Jordan, obviously
2 games.
Bron had a crazy game yesterday. Jordan was people. Look, the Wizards didn't do anything, but people like to forget that Jordan was getting buckets.
And here's the thing, too, is he came back, and I get it. One thing that LeBron didn't do, because he's constantly taking games off, Jordan did have segments of retirement where he, quote, break away from the game, coming back 2 or 3 years after retirement to then play 2 years with the Wizards, played all 82 games, and averaged insane numbers at 41. And on a team –
imagine if Jordan went to a good team, though. What if Jordan goes to a good team?
That was just as a franchise.
He owned part of the Wizards, so he goes,
That's the only reason why. But I mean, if we're talking about 41-year-old LeBron and 41-year-old Jordan, I'm still taking 41 Jordan, but like LeBron is better. I'm just saying, like at the, but like in the historical context, good Lord, these people putting LeBron over Michael Jordan. I'm like, y'all, like,
where do you have so we can really get this ramped up? I don't know.
Well, we need to get through where do you have LeBron?
That's what I was going to ask. Where do you have LeBron James? This is where we're going to get.
And again, it's the last 5 years are so bad for LeBron. It's hard to like.
In what way?
You can't take. But man, because of like the flopping and the whining and the posturing.
But that's what I'm saying. Let me just say this real quick. When I want you to look at this in a mirror of like, I understand LeBron being corny and flopping and being all valid. Like I just want to talk about strictly the basketball aspect of it. I understand why he's look. I get it. I get that part of it and why y'all don't like him. And I just want to talk.
But that's just the last 5 years though. It's been really, really bad. Historically though, flopping aside and LeBron's greatness, I'm going to put him in the honestly. If I had to do a real number, I'd probably put him, maybe at 15 to 17 overall.
What?
What? I love that. I love that. I love it. I'm here for it.
Name some of the people. I love that you're a straight shooter. We know that's why you're here. So name some of the folks that you have above him. We know your top five. What are some other players you have above LeBron James?
If I'm going next level, because I don't even have it prepared, but if I'm just going offhand, right after my top five of Mike, Kareem, Kobe, Magic, Bird, we're going like I'm just offhand. Shaq, Duncan, Elijah Wan. Let's get the centers out of the way. I'm putting them all ahead of them. Pippen. Y'all don't even like to actually not.
We need to talk. We need to talk about Scottie Pippen, though. To your point,
we need to get there because there's a point we need to talk about in the '90s about Pippen that we're not talking about. We need to get there. Where are we putting AI? As far as in historical context, I
love him, but I love AI. He's one of my favorite players of all time.
He's my third favorite two guard.
I think I had him in one of my earlier things. I think I had him at 12. Honestly, like if I put like who's
that's
really there, because
still insane. That's still crazy.
Yeah, I know, and I know I said 15 being funny, but I think when I made my list like reality of like who overall I think he was 11 or 12, something like
that. From a basketball standpoint,
13.
What has you ranking him so low?
Just like watching him. In watching him, it just is like his game is so unrefined, and it's hard to watch. It really is really hard to watch now. It was hard then, just because it's we talk about PER now. There's a stat that was in the 90s that PER when you look at like it's like usage, like. Of course, in the early 2000s, and he's playing those Pistons teams, and he finally gets over the hump against the Pistons. Y'all, this is a guy who for 3 years could not get past Dwight Howard and Hedo Turkoglu. Get the F out of here with this guy. He could not get past Dwight Howard and Hedo Turkoglu and Jameer Nelson. Get the hell out of here.
LeBron James as an 18 and 19-year-old. Took the worst team in the NBA to the playoffs, and as a 19-year-old to the NBA Finals. Okay. The worst with Jonas Ilgauskas as the second best player.
Listen,
imagine if Kobe went, and again, Kobe's went to the Hornets.
Kobe did.
If he went to the Hornets instead of the Lakers and played there?
Kobe did this in 2008 and 2009 and 2010. He did this. With
what?
With what? With Powell? You're saying that's what because of Powell?
Powell, the sixth man of the year, and Lamar Odom, right? One of the most steady point guards of all time. Probably the best coach of all time. Probably the best.
Lamar Odom from three.
Sixth man of the year that year. He was a great player. He's a sixth man of the year, right? And you got Phil Jackson, probably the best coach. Probably the best coach of all time.
Hold on a second. We're talking Jameer Nelson, Dwight Howard, Hedo Turkoglu. He could not get past JJ Redick and Jameer Nelson.
When was this though?
You said 2008, 2009, 2010. He couldn't even.
You said he finally gets past. He finally gets past the Pistons. Who was on his team? Not only did he just get past the Pistons, he scored 23 straight points.
I saw
in that last game.
And that was on a cooked Pistons team in 2007. I give it to him. I get it. He got it on a Cook Pistons team. I give him the credit. He got past them in 2007, only to get his butt promptly swept in the finals. Because we're not even talking about being at the finals 12 times, losing 9 of them or whatever the stat is. This is insane.
Because you got to look at him having to go through Steph Curry and KD, two top 50 players, right? Ever. He had to go through your best power forward of all time ever in Tim Duncan. There was during a 10-year stretch, LeBron, as the best player, took his team to the final 9 times. 9. That's insane.
Bro, he was it was called the Eastern Conference all the time when he was there for a reason. The West was always the power after Jordan. Come on now. You know this. You're old enough to know this, Patad. There was a balance of power from the East to the West after Jordan. It was called the Eastern Conference for a reason. The number 3 seed in one of those years won 49 games. Get the heck out of here, man. There were 4 60-win teams in 2007, with the Lakers, the Spurs. Some of these teams were in the 55, 60 wins. It was the Eastern Conference.
The problem with LeBron is people punish him for getting to the finals. If LeBron would have only made it to 4 finals and was 4 for 4, people would. But you understand that. And if you look at the game, do you think Kobe or Bird or any of those teams would have beat the Kevin Durant, Steph Curry Warriors team, which is probably the best team I've ever seen? No one's beaten those teams. LeBron could not beat those teams. He was never going to win the first.
What?
Who's beating that Warrior? Who's beating that Warriors team?
73. Wait a minute. The 73 season freaking team didn't even win the finals. What are you talking about? The greatest?
Because of who? Because of 3-1. Because of who?
Because Draymond Green. Draymond Green.
LeBron. Draymond Green missed one. He missed one game. They lost 3 games with Draymond Green, including a Game 7 at home. Draymond Green
had 45 in that game. I know.
Oh, how many did LeBron have? How many did LeBron have?
They both had 40.
LeBron was insane.
Listen, I'll give him in 2016. We're not sitting here talking about a bum. I'm telling the number 12 best player, 15 best player of all time. So he's gonna have some of those moments. He's gonna have a moment.
That's ridiculous.
Look,
LeBron.
My dad would always say this. Look, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So again, he's gonna have a moment. Okay, he was great.
Moment?
But bro, it's not close.
My biggest knock on LeBron was 2011. 2011 is the biggest knock.
That's the only knock you can really give him. You could give that.
That's
to
a
him.
big one,
that was
man.
2011 was bad.
That was bad.
Come on, Dwayne Wade is notoriously LeBron. Come on, you're the best player in basketball. Begging with him. Come on, stop being a hoe.
It was a bad. Literally. That was a turning point, I think, in his career. But I'll give you that. That's the one thing I will give you is 2011
and the 2014 choke.
2014 choke?
The 2013 of 2014. I'm telling you, Manu Ginobili misses the second free throw in the 2014 championship year against the Heat. He misses that second free throw to put him up by 4. They go down. Bosh misses it, kicks it out to Ray Allen, who bails him out to win that 2014.
There's no bailout, man, because you're not saying that
No, but they lose the series. They lose the series if he misses that shot.
That's what I'm saying.
None of those shots that Steve Kerr took would have lost the series. They would have lost the series.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Listen, the Steve Kerr shot and the John Paxson shot, the game was tied. You have to understand this. So they're not losing this.
And it's also Game 6.
Exactly.
But you don't say that about the Ron Artest 3 against Boston in Game 7 when Kobe had a terrible game in Game 7. You're not saying he bailed them out.
Here's the thing,
he didn't bail anybody out.
Listen, Kobe was 6 for 28 in that Game 7.
And I'm not knocking Kobe.
I get it. And he should not have been the finals. I get it. He had a bad.
He should have been a Finals MVP. Yeah, of course.
No, I know, but I'm just saying he had a bad Game 7. But his will, his relentless pressure on that team that was great, was one way. Of course. But Ray Allen misses that shot. If
or Kyrie misses that shot.
Right.
But look at what
makes that free throw. It's over.
LeBron scored 13, the block, the 13 consecutive points before the Kyrie shot, all that.
I gave it to you.
All that.
I gave you, Todd, I'll give you the 2016, the comeback. It's great. He didn't.
He
do
was
that against
amazing.
KD. If KD's on that team, it doesn't matter.
But who's beating that KD Steph team? Seriously, I want to know what other teams in history. Maybe you're talking about the 72-10 Bulls. What other teams are beating that team? Honestly, I don't know.
Hold on a second. For real? The 2001 Lakers were 16-1. They were cooking that team. Who's guarding Shaq? Who the hell's guarding Kobe? Not Klay Thompson. Don't say freaking Klay Thompson.
Well, someone's got to. But I mean, they look.
Hold on, Andrew Bogut, David West are guarding Shaq. We've already seen that. Y'all saw the Mason brothers, or you saw the brothers in Indiana, the Dale Davis and Antonio Davis brothers. Those guys make David Weston look like little boys. Dale Davis and Antonio Davis were beat.
So the team that lost the game, team lost the game to AI's they're beating them. That's what you're saying.
I could put at least 4 teams that are better than that.
4.
I'll give you. Listen.
Okay, let's hear him. I want to hear him. If you know him.
No, you know what?
Okay.
I will give you on that team, on the 2017 or 2018 team.
It has to be one of either one of those teams.
Either one.
You don't have Bogut anymore, so it's the same team, pretty much.
Yeah, either essentially, right? The same team. I think one of those years, KD maybe played fewer regular season games because he had that partial bone fracture in his foot, whatever. I think maybe 2018 season, but that 2017 season, that first year, they were pretty much out for blood and revenge. That's a top 5 team easily. But I'm putting the 96 Bulls team in there. I'm putting 92
I'll give you
Bulls
that. I'll give you that
there.
one.
I'll give probably the 92 Bulls team. I'll give you the 96 Bulls team. At least the 2001 Laker team. That's number 3. And then maybe those 3 teams. What are you doing with Shaq and Kobe? Nobody. You can't stay Steph because what's Steph gonna do?
40, 50.
Okay,
who's guarding Steph?
That means Shaq's getting 70, or Kobe's getting 70.
Whatever you think, regardless, there's only 2 other teams in the history of the game that would have beat that team, but we hold against LeBron for losing to him twice. 3. And then he's not beating the Warriors.
No,
listen.
I'll put that 2016 team. Maybe the 2016 team is then number 5. Then of the Cavs. Does that make you happy, Todd?
No, because listen,
because
LeBron lost another finals. You realize LeBron lost another finals when, without Kyrie and Kevin Love, he beats them 2 games with Dellavedova as the second best player. He was never winning his first finals against the Spurs. That team was way overmatched. Call the Eastern Conference. So a lot of I'm not making excuses, but I don't see Andre who. What?
The finals, the 2015 MVP, 2015
Iguodala.
finals.
Iguodala.
Yeah, 20 and LeBron.
LeBron should have won the Finals MVP, even though they lost. He was averaging a triple-double.
Steph should have won that, man. Steph should have won
that. 2015 team. He couldn't beat Steph and Klay and what's his face? Come on.
Which one was
the 2015
That's
team.
true, though, because that gave that team confidence, man. They didn't have it like that. They didn't.
That team had no business beating LeBron and them. They had no business beating them. Sorry, brother.
Just so you know, in the 25-15 NBA Finals, LeBron James averaged 36 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 9 assists. What else do you want the man to do? That is, bro.
Win.
Nobody. You can't.
Win.
There's what else can he do, bro?
Win.
Listen to me.
Listen.
There's nobody in the history of the game that would have done that.
Listen, Mike, there is a pivotal game 6 in the 97 finals. And Mike is, they're 3-2. They go down. Mike is sick. He was food poisoned. And he gives them 45, and dude could not walk.
Okay. I'm so saying,
that's
but
a game. If that was LeBron now, LeBron would have IVs and his chocolate chip cookies and be bagged up at the hotel like a baby.
Sick.
Pat, you know why he left. Listen what the conversation, Matt. You know why LeBron James left the Miami Heat? You know why?
And Pat's giving him a hard time.
No, Pat Riley outlawed his chocolate chip cookies. That's why he left.
Jesus.
Bro, I'm not kidding. I don't think I'm lying.
What are you talking about, bro? What do you mean? You guys are
for real.
Both
Pat
of you are
Riley's
crazy.
not playing. Hey, listen, let me tell you this about Pat Riley.
I know Pat Riley's no joke. I know
Listen,
it.
you walk in the building, you better take your keys and your phone out of your pocket because you're weighing. If you are an ounce over that scale, it's $5,000 a day until you get off of it. I'm telling you. He's not. He walks in. Yeah. He empties his stuff. He's weighing. They're not playing. And listen, LeBron, Yes, he left because of the cookies. His pre-prepared meal. Mike Mansell, you couldn't come into the building. You know, all this kind of stuff got weird. LeBron's a hoe. You know, he wasn't. LeBron's a hoe.
LeBron
Sorry.
Ramon James, number 2 all time.
I apologize.
Mark it down. One of the greatest all-time leading scorer in the history of the game. LeBron James. Enjoy number 12.
He's one of the top 15 greatest players of all time.
This guy is crazy.
He's top 15 for real. No doubt.
All right. Yeah. So a couple more things for you. One, this is I'll probably text you this once every year or two. Can you explain to the listeners what the list is and who's on it?
Man.
I love it.
Guys,
love this.
Listen, you know, you go watch the 80s and the 90s Pistons, my favorite team growing up. Now, listen, I'm an asshole. So I grew up Bears, Bulls, Cubs. And I am a Cowboy fan to this day because my mom had a crush on Danny White. And and I got these cowboy pajamas when I was a little boy, and I wore them all the time. Every picture I'm in from age 3 to age 6, I got on these cowboy pajamas, right? And so I love the Cowboys. But so I was a Pistons fan because I was just cheering for them to beat, the Bulls. And look at the games when Lambeer just is, wailing on Larry Bird. No technicals given. There's no ejections. This was a big boy league. Okay? Bigger than me. Bigger than anything I could deal with. This is a big boy league. But when we're talking about dudes who are mad and we're talking about the list, we're saying people who are about it and people who are not about it. And I'll tell you right now, guys, I don't know if there's a player currently playing, maybe outside of Isaiah Stewart, who will maybe be in the top 10 of the list. Because that boy is straight crazy. He will fight you. He doesn't care where you are. He'll run and chase you down in the tunnel. He does not care. Isaiah Stewart's not caring. So the list is essentially, Matt, the list is those people who weren't only about that action, they were like, it's gonna be finished. It doesn't matter if you say something and you cross that line, it's gonna be finished right then and there. And there's not a lot of people on that list, and there's a couple on at number 1. In my mind, Charles Oakley's number 1 on the list because he's still bitch slapping people to this day.
He's still slapped Dolan.
Hey, have you seen the clips of? Have you heard the stories about when he was coaching and like people owed him money, like Tyrone Hill? Like other teams are coaching and he's throwing balls at them. Give me my money, like grown men. I promise you,
he's the one.
I come across Charles Oakley. He needs anything, I say, yes, sir, Mr. Oakley. What you need? Anything? No problems. Okay, you know who else is on that list? I'm gonna give you a couple really good ones from the era because there's. Am I back here? Okay.
You're back.
Okay. Ben Wallace, probably on the list. James Johnson. You remember James Johnson?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still. I think he's a vet guy now, but like this is a first degree. I've heard stories about him. They say he's got hands, and they say he's effing you up.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen him in games. I've seen enough in games to know. But another thing who I'd like to see go at it is David West. James Johnson. James Johnson and David West are two guys that were like black belt judo guys who I think would be given fits in any of the dudes in the 80s and 90s. But one of the all-time tough guys, those people who are about it, Bill Lambier, man. Bill Lambier was an all-time tough dude and was not playing. And listen, Rick Mahorn, who was a thug and is on the list and was about it and was punking Charles Oakley and doing these things. Look, he got traded to the Pistons. And Bill Lambier's like, look, you come here, this is how we do business. When they come down the lane, we foul. If you don't, you're going to face me. Look, Bill Lambier's on the list and was not playing. Right?
Those boys are tough. Yep.
So we're talking about like, not a long list. Charles Oakley, you know,
Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace. We're talking about Rick Mahorn. We're talking about you know, Bill Lambier, James Johnson, David West. And then I think there's a 2-year period where Ron Artest is definitely on the list there, where he was pretty wild.
What
But
about
I don't
Jack?
think I don't think Ron Artest. I don't think it's the Mouse and the Palace days, because Kobe tested Ron Artest, and he you know, Kobe is not on the list, but Kobe wasn't backing down from anybody. Kobe tried to fight Shaq.
True that.
What about Steven Jackson?
A better you know, I think there's about 7 people there, Matt. You know, who do you got?
What about Anthony Mason?
Oh, Mace. Man, I think Mace was on the list, but man, I think Mace was scared, man. I think
Really?
I think he was one of those guys who was tough, but I don't think I think he was just a tough guy, just a 90s tough guy. And I think he was a legitimate tough guy, but he wasn't scrapping with nobody.
And for context, for fun context, I got a story to tell by Biggie. Apparently, is about Anthony Mason. Apparently, it was a true story. So listen to that back and let me know. I got a story to tell. It's listen to it.
Oh, it's about Anthony Mason.
No, so Life After Death. That's the rumor.
Yeah, I know the song.
Life After Death.
About.
Yeah. So it's about
I got another story about Biggie, and it's not one you want to hear. But anyway,
I'm telling you right now, we're gonna have to have you back on the pod, because this is too
we didn't get nearly through all the stuff we want to get through.
No, this is too good, man. This is too good.
Well, I mean, shit, dude. I mean, we're almost at 2 hours. We're gonna have to have you on again, man.
Have to.
Appreciate it. We got the list. You don't put Steven Jackson on the list?
Now, I don't know, man. You know, when we're talking about, like, again, like when we talk about the all-time greats of everything, I'm just saying I think they're on there. You know, I think Steven Jackson, I think Ron Artest, I think all those guys are on the list. But if we're talking about, like, you know, top 5, 6, 7 guys that you like are just like no doubt, like I can't put any of those dudes above them. I'm putting like Charles Oakley, Rick Mahorn, you know, James Johnson, David West, Bill Lambier, those guys on it. Like those guys were just giving everybody the business. It doesn't matter who it is.
What about Javaris Crittington? That's a bad joke, but
hey, he was about that smoke.
He was.
Hey, like him and Ja Morant. Those are 2 other guys that are willing to throw it all away over some guns.
Some stupid stuff.
What's happened to Ja, man? What's happened to Ja?
Bro, the fall off is epic. The fall off's crazy.
It's epic.
We could do a whole pod on that. I do not understand
happened?
it. I do not know. We could do a whole pod on that guy.
People don't even remember. The OKC was about to be tied after 4 games last year in round 1.
Yeah,
they were. If Ja didn't get hurt, they're tied because they were up like 30 in that game.
Yep,
and he's fallen all the way off since that.
Man,
it's a sad scene, bro. Yeah, that his
it's
career.
Bad.
Maybe he can get. He needs to get out of Memphis, and maybe he can resurrect his career somewhere. But it's got to be the right fit for sure.
For sure.
But man, Adam, this was incredible. We got to have you back on because there's a lot of stuff we didn't even get to. Let me ask you this: your first time on the pod. What are your just parting words, man? Any words of wisdom? You know what I mean? Anything from that you got for all the people out there? Because this was we enjoyed this.
No, I enjoy you guys. I appreciate you guys and your friendship, and I would just say live eternally focused, live eternally minded. And I'm far from perfect, and I know that's not behavior modification. It's relationship. If someone's coming up and banging on your door, are you letting him in? Does he know you? That's it though. But I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. And, I'd love to, I love chopping it up with you. We got to get live and in person and get, get a little reunion going too.
For sure, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, know you forever, man. We love you. Love the family. Appreciate the friendship. And we have to have a part 2, man, because there's so much stuff we didn't even get to.
And one thing too, and I want to tell you this too, of the impact you guys too had on me in a business standpoint too. Obviously, there's a couple things that come to mind. Obviously, you guys were ultra successful in our device career, but there was just 2 contrasting things there. Number one, first and foremost with Matt, just such a incredible way with people as a leader. is something that I've always I saw from the beginning with Matt, because I'm too radical. Like like almost like an old school guy. And I've learned it now in leadership to where, you can still have a standard and bring people along. But there was something that you've always done that I saw from early on, Matt, where, you're a player's coach, which is incredible. And then Todd, like from you, just from a transition from just a smoothness from business, but not a cool like some of these guys now who don't want to get sweaty and whatnot. But I mean, like, just a smoothness and just always comfortable in your own skin and in whatever role, which was just two things that I always learned and I took away from each interaction with both of you guys, that had an impact on my career in device, and I still see to this day. So
Appreciate you, man.
I've always looked up to you guys from from a business standpoint, individually, just how polished you guys are and were, So
thank you.
Appreciate
I
it.
learned a ton from you guys.
I'll take it back to something you said earlier, and something I definitely learned from you. And we talked about being relentless. You talked about Kobe. What I learned from you is just that relentless nature, man. Like, from a business standpoint, man, you weren't taking no for an answer. You're gonna be relentless and always believed in yourself, and that like drive is something I've always taken.
Not a lot of people have relief syndrome. I don't, and I don't know why. Like, we just finished up our first quarter, and I woke up the next day, and I'm on a team call at 8 a.m. Like, and again, just driving people to, like, what I've learned is, like, when you do great and perform, it's one of those things where that's where I'm, like, really on there. But, like, when people are do bad or have a bad month or a bad quarter, I'm there with them, because if you have the right people there, they know that, and you're there to kind of, like, help them and pull them along. You know what I mean? But for me, I've always just, the standard has been just to be your best. Every call, every quick pitch, every meeting, has a life of its own. And so you have to be unaffected. It could be a $50,000, commission on that call. And I've just wanted to be the best in every meeting and every call that I could. And again, that's my passion and my zeal. And Nick said something to me when I first came on. He's like, Adam, you got two things going for you. He's like, when you speak, he was like, you speak, and he goes, it's going to carry and resonate. And he said, and the second thing is you're memorable. He's like, I know you got two things going against you. When you speak, it's going to carry and it's going to be memorable. And he goes, and number two, it's going to be memorable. So you got to balance those two. I'll never forget that.
That's great.
That's
great.
So true. So funny. So true.
But no, great, you guys are the best, and I've learned so much from both of you. So
appreciate you, my brother.
Appreciate you coming on, my man. We'll have to get you back on soon. But
thank you for the time.
Absolutely, thank you for your time. And as we always finish, there's one thing you can't do.
Can't teach taste.
Can't teach taste.
Can't teach taste.